What we can read from the water story carved on the ancient stone? When myths and giants faded, how did we define time? Do rivers divide us or connect us? Can we tame the waters without losing the wonder? As rivers flow through our cities, what futures do they carry? "2,000 years ago, in the Chinese word, it referred a world enlightened by literature, moral integrity, and the order of ritual. 200 years ago, in the West, it was measured by the sum of cities, language, and architecture. Civilization, both spiritual and material, evolves with time, yet always upholds humanity's shared vision. Water shapes human activity in many forms, giving rise to what we call water civilization. Over millions of years, rivers have carved through mountains on their journey from land to sea. Their fertile floodplains nurtured life, yet also carried the threat of destruction. Most of northeastern Africa, where Egypt is located, is an endless stretch of plains and desert, dry, hot, and rainless. Yet the Nile, flowing through 11 African countries, rises predictably from May to August, flooding the land before slowly receding. The stark contrast between the Nile and Yangtze's runoff volumes reveals a critical truth. The Nile's limited freshwater and basin area struggle to sustain the dense human activity along its course. According to the Palermo stone, the earliest known royal annals of ancient Egypt, records of peak Nile flood levels date back to the First Dynasty, around 3100 BCE. To the ancient Egyptians thousands of years ago, the rise and fall of the Nile's waters was unpredictable and shrouded in mystery. Yet they harnessed its seasonal floods to cultivate agriculture, build a state, and give rise to one of the world's great cradle civilizations. So how did the ancient Egyptians come to understand the pulse of this river of life, transforming nature's challenges into vitality and hope? The answer lies in a series of remarkable structures known as Nilometers. Ingeniously designed and carefully used, they held the key to unlocking the river's secrets. In southern Egypt, the Nilometer on Elephantine Island measured the Nile's level using a series of riverbank steps. Meanwhile, in the ancient city of Sais in the Nile Delta, a vertical well connected by culverts served as a deep shaft to monitor the river's rise and fall. The ancient Egyptians used these structures to track the Nile's flooding patterns, carving water level readings alongside other vital records into stone. These inscriptions guided agricultural planning and informed the development of their calendar system. On Rada Island in the heart of Cairo, a Nilometer built in 715 CE reflects a later era's understanding of water, a testament to how generations of Egyptians across time continued to draw wisdom from the Nile.
The rivers of my home, the Yangtze and Jialing, have shaped Chongqing's soul. Their water gauges, each with time, tell stories of floods and droughts. On Rhode Island, the Nile's ancient engineer found a different answer, a Nilometer that measured the river's pulse in an amazing way.
Built on the order of the Abbasid Caliph al-Mutawakkil in 247 AH, 861 AD, the Nilometer on Rhode Island is one of the oldest in Egypt. This stone structure features 45 steps descending to the bottom of a well, with each step precisely measuring 24 centimeters in height. By counting the steps reached by the water, the ancient Egyptians could swiftly and accurately read the Nile's water level.
Because the architect wanted to let the water goes inside the Nilometer gradually and smoothly.
Oh, so one door for one layer,
Yes.
one floor.
Yes, yes.
Oh.
With this rounded shape, it will absorb the shock of the water, not to go directly to the column, then it could affect the stability of this column.
This design was based on the principle of communicating vessels. Under the same atmospheric conditions, the water level inside the Nilometer remained in perfect sync with that of the Nile itself. Across Egypt, Nilometers were more densely distributed in the south, the upper reaches of the Nile. This was because the upstream regions could detect flood levels earlier. Messengers would then travel north by boat to report the readings, allowing downstream areas to take timely and effective measures to manage and mitigate flooding. However, unlike other water level gauges, the Rhode Island Nilometer has clear readings corresponding to interpretations. Here, the ancient Egyptians measured water in cubits. 1 cubit was about half a meter. The Rhode Island Nilometer was marked with 19 cubits, measuring up to 9.5 meters of Nile floods.
15 cubits to this column means that we are happy. There is enough of water. Fertility of the crops will be good for this year. Everything is okay. What if we are lower than 16 cubits? Okay, if we are in 15, we are okay, still happy, not too bad. If less than 15, we are suffering or we are maybe in hunger. On the other hand, if the water level above 16 cubits, this means, okay, we have abundance of water, but if it reaches like 18, 19, it could be disaster and catastrophe.
The Nilometer was more than a flood gauge. It shaped the very rhythm of life along the Nile. The annual 7-day celebration of the Nile flood, which took place in here from the medieval period down to the end of the 19th century, was attended by the Sultan himself, along with his senior officials.
We had a canal that really crosses the Cairo city, and it goes all the way to the Red Sea, by the way. This canal would be opened only when we have a high water level. So basically we have so many festivities to celebrate what would be the high water level. Distributing sweets, for example, distributing food, charity that would happen these days, so that it's very much associated with the socio-economic system within the city.
The mystery and wisdom of water never failed to awe me. Yet standing here, I'm struck by humanity's bold dialogue with nature, a familiar power that echoes across time and space, reminding me of another civilization's answer.
Over hundreds of millions of years, tectonic shifts shaped the majestic landscape of the Yangtze River. Today, its runoff modulus surpasses that of the equator-crossing Amazon, ranking first in the world. The diverse terrain of the Yangtze River Basin nurtured one of the world's greatest ancient civilizations, the Huaxia civilization. At the confluence of the Wu River and the Yangtze lies the historic city of Fuling. For centuries, it has served as a hub for river transport and trade. During the spring and autumn period, Fuling was once the capital of the Ba Kingdom, bearing witness to thousands of years of change along the upper Yangtze. Here, a remarkable relic stands as a testament to China's ancient understanding of water management, hydraulic science, and romantic spirit.
The journey from Egypt to Fuling spans over 7,000 kilometers. This is my first time visiting the underwater museum, which houses stones that are over 1,000 years old, recording the unique methods used by ancient Chinese people to observe the Yangtze River hydrology.
Baiherliang is a natural giant stone ridge in the Yangtze River, approximately 1,600 meters long and 15 meters wide. A total of 18 stone-carved fish are engraved on the ridge, with the earliest pair of carp carvings dating back to before the year 764 AD. In the local county annals from the Kangxi period of the Qing dynasty, the following words were recorded. Each winter and spring, the stone fish emerge as water recedes. Ancient people gauged water levels by the fish's eyes, just like today's water gauge 0 point. Modern surveys show the Qing dynasty fish eyes align with today's 0 water level, while the Tang dynasty fish belly matches the Yangtze's historical low water average. Fuling's river system is crisscrossed and complex. Located in the heart of the Three Gorges region, its waterways are closely connected with those of the middle and lower reaches of the Yangtze River. The stone fish recorded hydrological data from 72 low-water years across 1,200 years of the Yangtze River's history. Locals use this information to predict agricultural conditions for the coming year, guiding farming practices and contributing to agricultural prosperity.
枯水蹄克，它要到长江中间的一些部位，往往是一些岛礁或者是一些峡谷的崖壁，不是太好记录，所以枯水蹄克比较少。白鹤梁蹄克是枯水蹄克里面最重要、最有代表性的一个蹄克。
In the early 1990s, the construction of the Three Gorges Dam posed an immense challenge to cultural preservation. As the reservoir rose, Baiherliang, with its millennia of inscriptions, faced permanent submersion. Should it be relocated, sealed away, or simply abandoned to the waters? Chinese scientists confronted an unprecedented dilemma. How can a cultural relic survive 40 meters beneath the surface, yet still be seen by future generations? Jiang Rui, one of the first to tackle this problem, is now the director of the Baiherliang Underwater Museum in Chongqing.
从1992年开始，白鹤梁蹄克先后通过了10年的论证，形成了7个保护方案，最后采用了上海交通大学工程院院士葛修润的无压容器方案，对白鹤梁实施了水下文化遗产的保护。
The non-pressurized container principle involved constructing a shell-like enclosure over the Baiherliang inscriptions. Inside the container, filtered Yangtze River water is circulated through a specialized pressure equalizing purification system, ensuring the inscriptions remain preserved within the river's environment while effectively preventing damage from silt and suspended matter in the reservoir. This design also maintains a balanced pressure between the interior and exterior of the underwater chamber, eliminating safety risks posed by the surrounding water pressure. As there was no precedent or mature technology for underwater cultural heritage conservation in China or the world, this ingenious concept faced tremendous challenges during its implementation. Spanning multiple disciplines, from archaeology and hydrology to architecture, navigation, and marine engineering, the project brought together institutions nationwide to create the world's only underwater museum. Situated approximately 40 meters beneath the surface, the design of the underwater viewing space and lighting system directly impacts both the presentation of the cultural relics and the operational performance of the entire facility. It takes 3 minutes and 45 seconds to descend to the riverbed via a 91-meter-long elevator. The underwater structure consists of a protective chamber and a visitor passageway. Its design incorporates technologies inspired by submarines to meet the varying needs of public access, operations, safety, and preservation. Designers and engineers also installed a smart-managed LED lighting system tailored to the characteristics of the Bai Herliang inscriptions, creating optimal viewing conditions for the public.
The exhibits in this museum are amazing. It doesn't only explain the value of Bai-Herliang, but also shows the civilization of other great rivers around the world. What I am more curious about is why there are so many names on the wall.
China's stone inscription culture embodies timeless elegance. Scholars breathed life into silent rocks through calligraphy, transforming stone into spiritual art. In this harmony between nature and human spirit, they forged an enduring legacy of Chinese cultural heritage. Bai Herliang bears 165 inscriptions with over 10,000 characters. All have been carefully preserved by the museum, recording folk customs and social activities by officials, scholars, and poets across dynasties, reflecting the cultural and historical life of each era.
白鹤梁的题刻呢有2种说法，一种是石鱼出水照封面，一种是石鱼出水不照封面。那么这幅题刻就是典型的说了石鱼出水不照封面的一种说法。石乎鸾凤现，石没亦是风；石乎吃霄现，石出亦是凶。就是他说，当我们遇到清官的时候，石鱼就算没有出现，那么也是风眠。
The Chinese see nature and time as friends, expressing their wisdom through art. It's like the Egyptian managing the Nile's flood. Both show the shared brilliance of ancient civilization.
Humanity's history of coexisting with nature to forge a shared future has never ceased. These carved records of civilization, preserved in stone, reflect the resilience of humankind, rebuilding homes, farming the land, and telling their stories again and again after each flood. In March 2023, a joint heritage application team from the Chongqing Municipal Administration of Cultural Heritage and Fuling District visited the Egyptian ambassador to China, officially proposing for the first time a China-Egypt Joint World Heritage Application, an initiative that received the ambassador's full support.
So it's very valuable to find those two connected archaeological sites that both related to hydrological sites or heritage. The entire world started to think about how can we protect the hydrological heritage sites, and then they decreed the convention in 2001. They mentioned underwater sites in Egypt, and also they mentioned Bai-Herliang inscriptions in China, Fuling, Chongqing.
因为我们长江是条大河，是中国的第一大河，母亲河，它会影响到太平洋的洋流，不仅是对研究长江的水文，对研究长江的这些工程建设能提供水文的资料，同时对于全球的气候变化也会提供一些信息。
Over 2,000 years ago, the ancient Silk Road had already connected Egypt and China. All the waters of the world will meet again. The Yangtze and the Nile will converge, not in geography, but in spirit and legacy. We hope that through deepening mutual understanding, the story of humanity and nature can live on, in harmony, and for generations to come.